Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel Unyistitches. If today is the first time of you seeing me, you're welcome to my channel. To my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your support. In this channel we upload sewing tutorial, pattern drafting, sewing tips, sewing tricks and sewing techniques. So in today's tutorial we want to learn how to draft, cut and sew a stylish pencil gown with a keyhole neckline. So if this is something you're interested on, keep watching. So we are going to draft our pattern first before doing the cutting on our fabric. So what you need is just your pattern paper, your rulers, your tape, and your paper scissors. I'm going to start with the skirt part first, that is the down part of the gown first, before drafting the upper bodice. So as you can see on my pattern paper, I've gone ahead to draw all my vertical measurements, which is my waist line. I'll call it WL. So the next one is from my waist to my hip point, which is my hip line. This is my knee line. For you to get your knee line, you measure from your waist to your knee. Whatever measurement you have, you minus between 3 and 4 inches. That is, you come up by 3 or 4 inches. That will help you so that the pencil skirt will not be tight on your knee. So the next one is a full length line. This one is my full length line. I need a full length line of 43 inches. So I will just name this my FL. So now let's start inputting our horizontal measurements. So let's start with the waist measurement. So divide your waist circumference by 4. Whatever measurement you have, you mark it down. Then mark another 1 inch for your dart, because I'm making use of 1 inch dart intake. The next one is your hip measurement. You divide it by 4 as well. Whatever measurement you input on the hip, you put same on the waist, knee, and also on the full length line. Then I'll go ahead and use my straight ruler and connect from the full length line to the waist, knee, and then to the hip line, just to have a straight line as you see me doing so. Then using my hip cuff, I will connect it from the hip line to the waistline. You can use your free hand if you don't have hip cuff. The next thing will be for me to impute my darts. Remember, we added 1 inch for the dart, so I will mark my bust span measurement, divide by 2. Then I'm going to mark the length of my darts to be 4.5 inches. I'll connect to have a straight line. Can you see? Then I'm going to divide my 1 inch dart into 2 parts, which is ½ inch on each side of the line. Can you see? So now my dart is done. The next thing will be for me to work on the down part of the skirt to have that pencil look. So I will come to my waist knee line. I'm going to minus 1.5 inches from the measurement that I had there. So you can decide to minus 2 inches. You can decide to minus even 2.5. It depends on how tight you want it to be. Or minus the same 1.5 from the full length line. So I will connect from the point on the full length line to that of my waist knee. Then I will connect it to my original hip measurement on the hip line. Can you see the skirt is forming already? So the next thing now will be for me to add all my sewing allowance. That is my side seam allowance. Remember, my side seam allowance will start from where I shapen the down part of the skirt for the down part. Can you see what I'm doing? So I will now shape the other part. Can you see? Remember to eliminate all sharp points. We don't need any sharp points on the skirt. Now I will add for my folding allowance. I need a folding allowance of 2 inches. You can use 1.5 or 1. It all depends on your preference. So I will go ahead and connect all the lines, and then I will cut my pattern. I'll go ahead and name my pattern. This is my front pattern, my side front, and my center front. So let's draft the back pattern now. So as you can see on my pattern paper, I've gone ahead to mark all my vertical measurement the same way I did for the front. And then let's go ahead and mark all the horizontal measurement. I will start with marking my waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch that. The same with the hip measurement divided by 4. So I will go ahead and connect it. That is from the waist to the hip line, as you can see me doing so. The next thing now will be for me to impute my same hip measurement on the waist knee line and also on the full length line. Then I'm going to connect to have a straight line. Can you see? The next thing will be for me to impute my dart. So I will mark my bust span measurement, that is nipple to nipple measurement, divide by 2. Then for my back dart, I'm going to come down by 4 inches, that is that length of 4 inches. Then I will impute my 1 inch dart, that is half inch on both sides. Remember, we added 1 inch dart intake. Then I will connect my dart leg. Can you see? After imputing the dart, the next thing will be for me to go ahead and shaping the waist knee and the full length line so that I will have the pencil look. Remember, we minus 1.5 from the front. So for the back, we are going to minus the same 1.5. But for the back, we are not going to minus 1.5 from one side like we did for the front. We are going to divide the 1.5 into 2 equal half. That is 0.75. So I will minus 0.75 from one side of the back, and the other side of the back I will minus the same 0.75. For example, if you tighten the down part of your skirt for the front using 2 inches, then you will minus 1 inch on each side of the back panel. I believe you understand what I'm trying to explain. So I will minus the same 0.75 on the full length line, the same way I did on my waist knee line. So I will go ahead and connect using a straight line. So the next thing now will be for me to go ahead and connect from the hip line to the waist knee line on both sides of my back pattern. The next thing now will be for me to shape the waistline. So I'm going to mark 0.75 from my center back waistline. I'll connect it to my hip line. This will help to eliminate the zipper bulging, and also it will help the boot to balance well on the dress. The next thing will be to go ahead and add my sewing allowance. I'm making use of 2 inches sewing allowance. I'll go ahead and connect it. The next thing will be for me to mark my zipper allowance. I want to make use of 1.5 inches zipper allowance. So I will mark my zipper allowance as you can see me doing so. I will connect it. Can you see? The next thing will be for me to add my hemming allowance. Remember, we added 2 inches for the front, so I will repeat the same 2 inches for the back. So I'll go ahead and cut my pattern now. So I'm going to cut this back pattern on 2 pieces. Remember, the front I'm going to cut on 4. Then this is my side back, and the other side is my center back. So this is my pattern for the front. Can you see? And also my pattern for the back. So let's go ahead and draft the upper bodice. So my pattern is on 4, and I've gone ahead to do some of my markings, as you can see already on my pattern paper. So what I did is just for me to mark my shoulder measurement, which is the starting point, then my chest line, my bust line, my under bust line, and my half length, which is my waist line. The next thing was for me to mark my shoulder measurement, divide by 2. Then the next one, I impute my neck, make use of 4 inches by 3 inches. Then my shoulder slope, I slope my shoulder with 1 inch. Then I draw a straight line to connect to my chest line. The next thing will be for me to mark my bust measurement, divide by 4. Then I will put the measurement down on my chest line. So for me to plot my armhole curve, I'm going to mark half of the line that connects from my shoulder slope to my chest line. Can you see? I will mark half of that line. Then I'm going to come in towards my center front by ½ inch. Then I'm going to connect it from my shoulder slope to that ½ inch point and then to my chest line where I have my bust measurement, divide by 4. Can you see? Then the next thing will be for me to mark my bust measurement again, divide by 4 on my bust line. I will connect it to the chest line. The next thing will be for me to impute my darts. So I will mark my bust span measurement, divide by 2 on my waistline, my under bust line, and also on my bust line. I will connect to have a straight line. Then I'm going to come to my under bust line. I will mark 1 inch towards my center front. Then I'm going to mark 1.5 inches toward my side front. I will mark the same on my waistline, 1.5 and 1 inch. Then I'll connect, as you can see me doing so. The next thing will be for me to connect from my bust point to the under bust line. I will use my curve ruler, but if you don't have one, you can use your free hand. The next thing will be for me to impute my waist measurement, divide by 4 plus my 2.5 that intake. Remember, we made use of 1 inch towards the center and 1.5 towards the side seam, making it 2.5 inches that intake. So to impute my princess darts, I'm going to measure from my shoulder slope down to my armhole. Whatever measurement I'll have, I will locate the center of that line. Can you see? Then I'm going to mark it down. I'll mark 0.5 inches starting from that point. Can you see? Then I'll go ahead and connect both points to my bust points. I believe you can see what I'm doing. So that is my princess dart. Ignore this other straight line. I'm not going to make use of shoulder darts. So I'm going to increase this other dart leg with the ½ inch dart intake that I took there, so that I won't be short of fabric when I'm sewing. So I will go ahead and connect it. Can you see? Up to my shoulder slope. So that is my new armhole. So now let's add our joining allowance. I want to make use of 1 inch joining allowance. That is the allowance I'm going to join to the skirt part, and to my side seam I'm going to make use of 2 inches. I like having excess instead of being short of fabric. Then I'll add my shoulder joining allowance of 0.5 inch. Can you see? So now I'm going to go ahead and cut my pattern. Let's draft the back pattern now. I start by ruling the starting point, which is the shoulder line. Then the next line will be my bust line. The next one will be my waistline. That is from the shoulder to the bust point and from the shoulder to the waistline. So I will connect it. Can you see? Then the next one will be for me to mark my zipper allowance. So that is for my zipper allowance. I will come to the shoulder line. I will mark half of my shoulder measurement. That is the shoulder measurement divided by 2. And then I've imputed my neck width and my neck depth. For the back, I'm making use of 4 inches neck width and 1 inch neck depth. For my shoulder slope, I'm going to slope it by 1 inch for the back. Can you see? Then the next thing will be for me to impute my chest line. For me to impute my chest line, I'm going to divide my bust measurement by 6 plus 1.5. So I'll go ahead and impute my bust measurement divide by 4 on my chest line. As you can see me doing so. Then I'm going to connect from my shoulder slope to my chest line. I'll go ahead and mark the center of that line. Then I'm going to curve my armhole. Can you see what I'm doing? So after that, the next thing now will be for me to go ahead and impute my bust measurement divided by 4 on the bust line again. I'll connect it to the chest line. Then on the waistline, I will mark my waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch dart intake. I will connect it. For me to impute my dart, I will mark my bust span measurement divided by 2. Then I will divide my dart intake, that is 1 inch, into 2 places, which is ½ inch on both sides. I'll come to my chest line. I will mark my same bust span measurement divided by 2. Then I'll come down by 1 inch. I'm going to connect from that point to my waistline. Then I will mark my dart leg. Can you see? So the next thing will be for me to shape the waistline for the back to eliminate my zipper bulging. So I will come in by 0.75, the same way we did for the skate part. Can you remember? So that is the point that will eliminate the zipper bulging. So I'll go ahead and mark my zipper allowance of 1.5 inches. Can you see? So I will go ahead now and add my seam allowance and also my shoulder allowance. Can you see? Then my joining allowance of 1 inch. I'll go ahead and cut my pattern. So I'll go ahead and fold in my dart because I don't want to sew it on the fabric. So I want to hold my dart before cutting it on the fabric. I'll use my tape and tape it down. Then for me to further eliminate the zipper bulging, I'm going to come in by 0.5. Can you see? Then I'll connect it to my side seam. So I love holding my darts on the pattern paper before cutting it on my fabric. So we'll go ahead and hold down all my darts. You can decide to sew your darts on your fabric, but I like holding mine on my pattern paper. So these are my pattern sets. So I will use it to cut my fabric and my lining. So this is the end of this part 1. I'm going to upload the part 2, which will be the sewing aspect of this beautiful gown. So make sure you watch out for the part 2. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, share our videos, and subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notification bell so that when I upload new sewing tutorial, you'll be notified. And also drop any illustration that you would like me to do, any style that you would like me to draft or to sew. Just drop it on the comment section. I will do it for you. So bye bye, see you on next tutorial.